Welcome back to the channel, watchers of the Marvel Multiverse, as we continue our breakdown for Spider-Man No Way Home. Today's video is going to be a big one. With that said, massive spoilers will follow in this video. Before we get into it, the hot toy figure giveaway for Spider-Man Far From Home continues. If you want to enter for your chance to win a hot toy, all you have to do is like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and tell me in the comments down below which member of the Sinister Six are you most excited to see in No Way Home. Now, let's get into it. We have a leaked description of one of the post-credit scenes for Spider-Man No Way Home. Obviously, with that said, there are massive universe-altering spoilers in this video if this is proven to be correct, which the story has been corroborated by multiple sources, both close to Sony and close to Marvel, so it's nearly 100% accurate, with various leakers also coming out and saying that this is in fact true and real. So keep that in mind before continuing on with this video if you want to be surprised in the movie theater. If not, and you're still interested in the video, let's go ahead and get into it. To set up the post-credit scene of Spider-Man No Way Home, we have to first talk about and address another post-credit scene that we got recently, a post-credit scene that many fans called the greatest in the Marvel Universe history, that being the one for Let There Be Carnage, wherein both the Venom symbiote and Eddie Brock were transported into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, setting up a potential grudge match between Venom and Spider-Man, and bringing Eddie Brock from his universe into the mainline MCU, with the post-credit scene even directly teasing a fight with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. However, it appears as if something big and major is happening behind the scenes, as the post-credit scene for Spider-Man No Way Home apparently nullifies this. As we know now, a lot of the villains from the other Spider-Man franchises were brought into the mainline MCU thanks to the botched spell on behalf of Tom Holland's Spider-Man as well as Doctor Strange. At the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, apparently the spell is fixed and everyone is sent back to their respective universe, including Eddie Brock's Venom, as Doctor Strange manages to fix the spell. So apparently, Venom will be going back to his universe before ever encountering Spider-Man. Apparently, the scene begins with Eddie Brock and Venom sitting at a bar, at which point they return to their home universe. However, there is more to this post-credit scene. Apparently, a piece of the Venom symbiote is actually left behind and will remain in the MCU, with the majority of the Venom symbiote going back to his home universe, but again with a piece of it being left behind. This will be massively disappointing for a lot of fans that were expecting Eddie Brock to face off against Tom Holland's Spider-Man. However, this is still likely in the card, as with this report we're also hearing that Eddie Brock will find his way back to the mainline MCU eventually, the Eddie Brock from the Venom films of course, and that potentially this piece of the Venom symbiote that's being left behind could form the major antagonist moving forward that Venom and Spider-Man will have to team up and face off against. Obviously though, the storyline that they're setting up before this is the black-suited Spider-Man story, but apparently the major difference here is that Eddie Brock will still have the main Venom symbiote and the MCU will be getting one in the form of this piece that was left behind that Peter will eventually inherit. This is super convoluted. Apparently a lot of insiders are aware that this will be a very controversial post-credit scene, with it basically essentially undoing what was set up in Let There Be Carnage, with Eddie Brock and Venom going back to their home universe after the events of No Way Home and after Doctor Strange fixes the spell. However, with the piece of the Venom symbiote being left behind, this raises even more questions, like is there a Venom symbiote or the Clintar in the mainline MCU universe? And is there a version of Eddie Brock in the mainline MCU universe that we're unaware of that he himself will eventually inherit the Venom symbiote? Or is there only the one Eddie Brock and he will eventually find his way back to the mainline MCU? Also, will this piece of Venom that is left behind be a direct extension of the Venom symbiote that we know from the Venom movies? Or will it form into a different symbiote entirely and set up a potential villain for Venom and Spider-Man to face off against? There are a ton of scenarios that could go down here. My opinion though, it does undo what Let There Be Carnage set up, with a lot of fans really excited that Eddie Brock and the Venom that's been set up in the previous two movies did eventually find his way into the MCU. However, with Doctor Strange fixing the spell, it does make sense that he would go back to his home reality. If this was the case though, why would they want to leave a piece of him behind? What's clear though is that Venom and Spider-Man are still slated to face off against one another. Well, how exactly this will go down though will apparently be drastically different now according to what we're hearing from both the comics as well as Spider-Man 3. And I would venture a guess that this piece of the Venom symbiote that is left behind will in fact be the main antagonist in the Venom vs. Spider-Man movie. If I had to speculate even further, I would say that it could eventually inhabit the character of Mac Gargan, and we could get the Mac Gargan version of Venom as the main antagonist in the Venom vs. Spider-Man film. Mac Gargan has of course already been set up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the Scorpion. The Mac Gargan Venom has obviously faced off against Venom in the comic books before, and Eddie Brock in the form of Anti-Venom. And this could be an interesting way and approach to revamp the Venom character, as well as create a brand new antagonist in the form of a Mac Gargan Venom. Again though, none of that is confirmed or even being rumored at this point in time, and is just solely my pure speculation. The important takeaways here though is that apparently Eddie Brock's Venom will be transported back into his home reality that we see in the first two films in the post-credits scene of No Way Home, completely nullifying unfortunately what we got at the end of Let There Be Carnage, with the rest of the villains apparently sent back as well. Again though, a piece of the Venom symbiote is being left behind, which will inevitably bond with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, as we will get the black-suited Spider-Man story told in the MCU, as it's obvious that Sony and Marvel will want to go in this direction. Whether or not we'll have two separate Venom symbiotes is completely unknown, with there even being a theory that the entirety of the Venom symbiote is left in the MCU and Eddie Brock is transported back into their original universe. And the plot of Venom vs. Spider-Man will sort of be a comedy, with Eddie Brock trying to get back into the MCU to get back with Venom. Anyway though, it's really convoluted, and we'll just have to wait a few years to basically see how this all plays out. Anyway though, my friends, what are your thoughts on this post-credit scene for Spider-Man No Way Home? And frankly, is this going to piss you off? How do you feel about them essentially undoing a major part of the Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene? And what do you think they're setting up with Venom and Spider-Man in the future? And how and when will the two of them eventually face off? Again guys, don't forget to enter the giveaway for the Spider-Man Far From Home hot toy. Also, there's a Black Friday sale going on the Marvel merch page where you can find stuff from 15 to half off. So if you're interested, check it out, link in the description down below. As always my friends, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you have a great day.